What's going on YouTube? Right now they're reading off the Cardinals pick, and I am at the same time hitting record because the Giants have traded up to 73. I thought that this was very possible. I thought that this was very likely because when you look at the receiver board right now, you got Jalin Hyatt there, you got A.T. Perry there, you got even Josh Downs there, who's a good route runner. You got a couple of wide receivers here, but after this round, after this clump of wide receivers, I'll read them off. Jalin Hyatt. Um, let's see. Let's look at the availability. Jalin Hyatt, Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman, Tyler Scott, A.T. Perry. That group of wide receivers, I'd be happy with any of these guys. But at the same time, after this round, you got only two guys that I'd be happy with. One is Kayshon Boutte, who has, you don't know which guy you'll get on Sunday. You don't know if he'll give up on the team. You don't know much. And the other is Michael Wilson, who could be a complete monster. He could be a complete monster, and he could just be that guy for you. But at the same time, he can't stay healthy. So those two are way too big a risk. So you got to be pulling from those top five, which again, Hyatt, Downs, Tillman, A.T. Perry, and Tyler Scott. So the Giants pick is in. Looks like someone's reading it off. Let me be quiet for a second. In the 73rd pick, the Giants select Jalin Hyatt. Let's go. Let's get it, man. We're going fast. We're going fast. We're going fast. I wanted A.T. Perry as my number one wide receiver at this point, but Jalin Hyatt he's a speedster. This dude is going to stretch the field. We got Darren Waller working that underneath. He's already a fast tight end. We got a lot of wide receivers that can work that middle of the field. A lot of wide receivers that can work underneath, but we do not have a dominant field stretcher. I don't care what you think about Jalin Hyatt as far as his route running. It needs a ton of work. He has a ton of work to do in the route running category. But in the third round, you get a guy who may be the fastest player on the field 15 weeks out of 17. He may be the fastest player on the field, people. This guy runs streaks, and he's just open. He's just open because he's so fast. If you go back and watch this tape of Jalin Hyatt, I mean, just look at the speed. Hendon Hooker is releasing the ball before Jalin Hyatt even clears the defensive backs, and he's just there. So this pick right here shows me that the Giants want to air it out. I'm not saying they're abandoning the run, but it does show me that the Giants want to put some air under the football, that they want that they wanted to be traveling 40 yards downfield, which I think this is something we needed in the worst way. A.T. Perry is I think A.T. Perry is going to be a good player. I do think he's probably a better all-around receiver than Jalin Hyatt because he can run routes. He has good hands. He has some drop issues though. But A.T. Perry is a well-rounded wide receiver. He can go up and get the ball, all of that stuff. But at the same time, A.T. Perry is not a guy that you line up outside and you're like, he's going to run past our whole defense. We got to play 10 yards off of him. Jalin Hyatt is going to do that. Jalin Hyatt is going to be running these deep crosses for us. He's going to be running these deep posts for us. And he's going to be running some screens. And he's going to be running some streaks. And that's all we need. Because and then Cedric Tillman goes right after him. What a couple of picks for Tennessee. What a couple of picks for Tennessee. Cedric Tillman goes right after him. So shout out to Cedric Tillman. But Jalin Hyatt, you line him up there on the outside. You got big Darren Waller in the middle. You got Wan'Dale Robinson working that middle of the field. You got Isaiah Hodgins as that possession wide receiver that's going to be able to kind of pull that defense down. Jalin Hyatt is going to be getting singled up. And if he doesn't, guess what? One of those other guys is going to get singled up. And this just makes everything better. Just the fact that you're able to stretch that field is a game changer, in my opinion. I mean, looking at this, let's talk about JMS too. I didn't make a formal video about John Michael-Schmitz, Great pick there. The Giants are doing a lot of good things. I mean, again, 25th overall pick. This is the second year in a row, and this feels great as a Giants fan to be saying this. This is the second year in a row that we have multiple players that I would have drafted with the same pick. This is the third round, people. I would have not been upset. You wouldn't see a video of me throwing stuff and banging on the table, which I have done before and people have gotten mad. You would not see me banging on the table, throwing stuff. I wasn't throwing stuff, but you wouldn't see me angry if we came out and took Jalin Hyatt at 25. We got Jalin Hyatt at 73. We got John Michael-Schmitz at whatever that pick was, but we got John Michael-Schmitz in the second round at 26. We got John Michael-Schmitz in the second round at 26. This is what a GM is supposed to be doing. This is what a good GM feels like. This is what a good GM feels like. We go up and we get a player that's going to help us. We're not worried about, oh, a 5th round pick here, a 6th round pick there, a 7th round. We don't like we used our picks. I'm not sure if we traded away a 4th rounder. We probably had to trade away a future 4th or something like that. But I am just fine because the three things that I wanted to come out of this draft with is a wide receiver that puts fear into the defense. Check. As soon as Jalin Hyatt steps out there, we saw this with John Ross, people. We saw this with John Ross. As soon as Jalin Hyatt lines up, the defense has to back up. They're backing up. They're backing up at that point. As soon as he lines up. On top of that, I wanted an offensive lineman that could play center. We got maybe the best center in the entire draft. And then on top of that, I wanted a guy who could play corner, who could be that second corner to Dory Jackson. I think we got a top 3 corner in this draft. And I think we're doing a great job. I'm still looking to see what we gave up. I mean, there's always, barring what we gave up. But in the meantime, I love the pick. And I'm going to take some time here to see if the news is out about what we gave up. So far, we've made 2 trades so far. I did not care about losing a 5th and a 7th round pick to make sure we got Deonte Banks, and I definitely don't care. Let's see what we did. No details yet. Okay, so the Giants traded picks 89 and 128. I have the draft tracker right in front of me. Let's see what 128 was. I wonder if that was a 5th rounder. Because if it was, I have no qualms at all. I just don't have any qualms. We traded 128, so that's our 4th rounder. So the Giants did trade away their 4th rounder to get Jalin Hyatt. But again, what I wanted to come out of this draft with was a dominant wide receiver. And when I say dominant, I mean a wide receiver that puts fear in the hearts of defenses, a center that could come in and play center day one, and I wanted a cornerback, and we got all 3. Whatever happens the rest of the draft means nothing to me. The rest of the guys we need is depth pieces. We need a depth safety maybe. We need a depth running back, which we can get in the 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. So happy with what we're doing so far. Jooe Schoen makes me feel like I'm not in the twilight zone, and we're actually taking good players that I think are good players, that someone down the block thinks is a good player, that most people think are good players, not players that we think could be good in 3 years if we have the perfect coaching, and if he doesn't sprain his toe going out to the store to get a Gatorade. Nothing like that. We actually have good players that we're drafting, and I think they're going to be good players in the NFL. So I'm hoping that Jalin Hyatt comes out and becomes the player, a dominant receiver that I know he can be, and I have no qualms. I have no issues with JMS. I think he's going to come and be a plug-and-play center day one. Will he be dominant? I'm not sure, but I know he'll be plug-and-play, and I can guarantee you he will be I guarantee he'll be better at center than Shane Lemieux. I 100% guarantee you that. And Deonte Banks is going to ball. So let's go Giants. I'm going to end this vid right here. Appreciate what Jooe Schoen is doing.